Where are my papers? Where are my papers?
Hello, everyone. I'm Claire. I am not a petroleum student,
Which is okay.
But I was inspired to come here by someone. But in my view of things, I would want to know if I can gain from the petroleum sector after pursuing my I got a diploma in something. So I want to see if I can gain from this also.
Exactly. Yes. Someone here, tell us. Why are you seated there? Tell us. Him.
Okay, morning everyone. Marvin is my name. I do petroleum engineering. So I've come here mainly to get to know more about the sector because it's where I'm heading as a petroleum student. So I'm excited to be here.
One more. There's another one over there.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm asking probably about career orientation. I'm very much aware very many people right now are studying certain courses and later on in the job market, they're going to do things that are not even related to their courses or the things that they've specified in. How do you blend in to do it for those specific things that you've not specified in, and how do you find it? Okay, how do you do your best to go for those specific, maybe careers and the things that you've not studied about?
Yeah, push up the microphone. One more person, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lugonvu Joel. I'm a computer science student. For me, I'm here to know more about what is in the sector of petroleum. Like, I have young brothers and sisters, and of course, people whom I might advise about the course. So I'm just here to learn more about it and how I can apply my knowledge in the field. Thank you.
Yes, there's a burning point there and here.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Chirumira. So my question is, I'm a civil engineer, so how can I probably in the future, are there any jobs for civil engineer in the petroleum sector? So that's my question. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
You're dressed like a presidential aspirant.
My name is Iwer Agatha. I'm doing computer science. So mainly what I expect from this is to tell me how my computing can be applicable in the petroleum sector. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me have the microphone. Let's clap for all those expectations. Now, the guys you see in front here, the background was not even petroleum. You are in the right place. They're not here to talk about petroleum only, but they're here to talk about career. Remember, we've had different career fairs, and people are talking about what to be in the future. How do you stand out from others? When you have a degree, what makes me stand out? We went for an interview, and I was on the panel, and the students had tied. And what made the other one stand out, he said, I'm a social media influencer. It was a biomedical career. And the person said, what difference are you going to put here? I'm going to promote you on social media. Now, you who are putting noodles, I don't know what you're going to do. So we need to know how to market ourselves beyond our degree. Let's quickly go through this. We are going to read in turns. The first person, I'll read 3, you take 3. 10 years ago, I wanted to be a doctor. 5 years ago, I wanted to be an electrical engineer. Currently, I'm a mechanical engineer.
I wanted to be the president of Uganda.
Yeah. Okay.
I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a pilot. I don't know what he's
Currently,
doing
where are
right.
they?
I don't know yet.
That one. I wanted to be a priest. Now I am a father of one in a hostel. Yeah. Guys, is that a career? Why are you clapping for bad people? Continue.
10 years ago, I wanted to be a Catholic priest. I had just joined a junior seminary, and now I am a student at MUST.
I wanted to work in robotics. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a superhero. Right now, superhero? A superhero is your dad. Currently, I am pursuing a degree in business. Okay?
Okay. My dream 10 years ago, the first one is I wanted to be a terrorist. I don't know why.
A terrorist?
Yeah.
This one we are going to trace the handwriting.
Then a boxing champion. Currently is an electrical engineer.
Please don't box the wires. I wanted to be a doctor 10 years ago. I am pursuing a degree in information technology, but my passion is playing the flute. This one I know. I want to find out about a career in IT.
10 years back, technician, teacher, doctor. Now, computer scientist, stroke developer.
10 years ago, I wanted to be a nun. Currently, I am pursuing a degree in agriculture. Not far from a nun.
Oh. Wanted to be a footballer, an international footballer, but now I'm not sure. But I guess if software engineering will do.
Okay. I wanted to be a pilot, but now I am a mechanical engineer student.
Wanted to be a teacher, stroke engineer, now a software student.
This one laugh before I start. I wanted to be a rich man with 2 wives, 2 cars. Currently, I wanted to be a doctor, but now I am an engineer in the making. Rich doctor with 2 wives, students, vanange. Okay?
Aerospace engineer, currently petroleum engineer.
Bank manager, petroleum engineering student. Hey, you're the one, eh? Okay.
10 years ago, I wanted to become a professional footballer, but now I am at MUST pursuing mechanical engineering.
A person with a very good white-collar job, and in what I'm trying to pursue, a good leader at every level. An inspiring person. Currently, they didn't put.
I wanted to be a doctor, engineer, lawyer. Now I'm doing computer science.
I wanted to be an economist. Currently, I'm a civil engineer.
Doctor, economist, lawyer. Currently is not mentioned.
I wanted to be a Catholic priest who is a doctor. Currently, I'm an engineer in petroleum engineering. I'm going to look at all engineers in Corpus Christi.
10 years ago, pilot, rich, and a doctor. Now doing software engineering, handling IT projects, attaining experience in IT.
Football player. Is this a missionary?
Musician.
Football player, musician. These two don't add up. A musician and a footballer. I wanted to be a footballer. I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to be a doctor. Currently, it's not there, sorry.
This one mentioned their name, but he wanted to be an astronaut.
Joel. I wanted to go to Kampala. I wanted to visit the cities, but now I'm doing electrical engineering.
I wanted to be a mechanical engineer.
They are not from Kabale. Stop insulting us. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a pilot. Now I'm a software engineer. 10 years ago, I wanted to become an engineer, but not yet specialized. Now, I am specialized in what I'm studying, petroleum engineering, and I'm happy with my career.
I wanted to be a petroleum engineering doctor stroke environmentalist, but currently is a computer science student. What happened?
I wanted to be a doctor and a footballer. New career, what is this? Now a CS student and a musician. We have musicians in the house. Please clap for the musicians.
Doctor, engineer, now a software engineer.
I wanted to be a doctor. Now I'm pursuing medical lab science.
wow, someone to be an engineer, only that.
Only that.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your opinion. If we've not read it, it has been read in the spirit. One last one.
I wanted to be a pilot, lawyer, aeronautic engineer. Yeah, I hope I've said that right.
Yeah.
Now I'm a software developer.
Okay, not far from your profession. So let's clap for ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. These are all what we wanted to be and we've shared our experiences. Now, this gives a chance to our facilitators to know where to direct the conversation. But before that, let's invite the person who linked us to the industry. That is Engineer Dr. Sagala Farid, who has been the coordinator of this whole thing, and also who has linked us to industry. We visited Tilinga and Kingfisher oil, yes, the fields. And we enjoyed there. We also visited the stadium, okay? So in there, we got to learn that not only the engineers are into petroleum, and the purpose for top management to go there was one, to make sure that our students are taken in for internship and placements to get acquainted with hands-on skills. On top of that, to get familiarization with the people in there for connections. Ladies and gentlemen, you can have your degree, but without connections. I'm not saying gamba nogu, but if you have no connections, you need a word. But that person to give in a word for you, they must see an extra character in you. Do we have that extra character? Do we have the life skills? Do we have the presentation skills? Do we have the communication skills? Are we ready to attack? Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a word from Dr. Sagala, and then we shall have the facilitation go on.
Okay, thank you so much, Madam Angela, for the arrangements. Appreciate your vibe in everything to make it more engaging. The day is very busy. We are here in the career fair. We have a training up from Sirambaja. We have the voting at the faculty. So we apologize for our facilitators if the number is not to our expectation, but I'm sure we have at least people will keep on coming. Some are doing tests. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with me. My name is Farad Sagara. I'm a senior lecturer in Petroleum Department, and I coordinate most of the activities with the Petroleum Authority of Uganda. I think I have taught most of you. Yeah, petroleum is a very busy profession, and the more you engage in it, you are going to realize that you are very busy as well. So I'm happy to welcome you for this engagement, and we look forward to learning and enhancing our opportunities. We engage our facilitators, and we maximize the opportunity that they have given us time to come to MUST to show us how we can be of use tomorrow if we graduate. Oil industry is not looking only at petroleum as they are going to elaborate. There are many workers, there are accountants, ICT, civil engineers, mechanical, every profession you can think of, you are needed and you are relevant in the oil and gas industry. So I welcome you all, and I welcome our facilitators. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. We look forward for an engaging session. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Farid. At this moment, allow me to invite the team lead of PAL to come and we start off the journey and also do the presentation and give us the highlights of how we are going to flow. Safe? Yes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're doing well. Well, my name is Saisum Homza. I work with Petroleum Authority of Uganda. Here with my colleagues, I do stakeholder management. I'm not a geoscientist, I'm not a petroleum engineer. I'm just a communication specialist, but I work with Petroleum Authority of Uganda. With my colleagues, I have Mr. Alex Byamukama. He's a Senior National Content Officer. We have Christina Nachon. She deals with National Oil and Gas Talent Register and National Supply Database. Then we have Derek Katsime. They are going to introduce themselves more. I'll do what we call an ice break. I'll request this interaction to be an interaction, fully interaction. We need to communicate. We need to talk. We need to exchange knowledge. We need to ask. Someone told me, if you need to learn, ask any kind of question. Even if it is a stupid question, ask, you will get an answer. And maybe an answer through a stupid question, you can get the answer you've been looking for several years. Well, I've heard all your wishes and what you dreamt. It's so wonderful. So, why are we here? Petroleum Authority of Uganda, we came into existence in 2015. As they are going to take you through the presentation. Last year, 2025, we are celebrating 10 years of excellence in regulation in oil and gas. As part of our celebrations, we decided to come and do series of career seminars at various education institutions. And the leadership of Mbarara University of Science and Technology welcomed us and afforded us this opportunity to come and speak to you. This seminar will provide a platform for professional interaction for students, and we need also feedback to the academic and professional community. This initiative reinforces Petroleum Authority's commitment of stakeholder engagement, nurturing young talent, and supporting community development. This seminar will contribute on the broader goal of Petroleum Authority of Uganda to create lasting values in Uganda's oil and gas journey. Through motivating young people like you, at various universities to explore different opportunities, passes within oil and gas sector and outside oil and gas sector. So my colleagues and I will share detailed information. As I told you, ask any kind of question, as long as it helps in your career path. We are not here to offer jobs or internship, but we are giving you knowledge. That's a disclaimer. We are sharing information, testimonials, and it is going to be much of. We expect it to be a questions and answer session as we do these presentations. Before my colleagues come in to present, allow me to ask a few questions, and I'll give out even some gifts, token of appreciation. One, how many of you have visited oil and gas operation or attended Skills Expo? I want 3 volunteers who have been either in the field or have participated in a career seminar. I want 3 volunteers.
I'm Daniel Kuganja. I've been to the field and also to the seminars organized by PAO. Is that all?
Come again?
I've been to the field and to the seminars. Yep.
What do you know about Uganda's oil and gas story? And what came out to be the most outstanding engagement during the most outstanding aspects during your visit?
During the visit, one of the outstanding things that I noticed about our oil and gas industry is how operations are, how organized we are, and how PAO is coming out to regulate all different aspects to do with health and safety, to do with community engagement. Like, for example, the people in the Albertine region have been, through policies set up by PAO, these different stakeholders like CNOC and Total have been able to train people in those communities, equipping them with skills, in different skills, which is helping people even who are not directly or like engineers or in those communities engaged in the oil and gas industry are able to benefit through acquiring skills, which is not sounding in other countries which are doing oil and gas. And that's one of the things that I appreciate well in the field. And also in seminars, like you have done today, you always keep giving us updates of what is going on, how can you engage, we are doing this, we're having this block coming up, you can engage with these companies. So that's one of the things I would say I've gotten throughout, well, in the field and also in the seminars. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else?
Good morning. Robert, PIM 3. I was at SINOC for my second year internship, and we had a field visit while there. Yes.
What do you know about oil and gas and Uganda's oil and gas, and what did you learn during your time at SINOC, and what came out to be most outstanding aspect in the
for Uganda's oil and gas, with the journey, I know from the time of exploration, that was the tallow time. Then, after the signing of the investment decision, then at SINOC, we got to learn about operation, the ongoing projects, and for instance, got to know the operation for the central, the CPF, the processing facility, the one that will be separating the fluids produced from, then project progress, the number wells going to be drilled for different projects, Lenga and Kingfisher. Then also community engagement, the corporate social affairs of the company, project affected person, resettlement, then like schools and stuff. So, and then the different contracts and processes and stages in the operations require different professionals, like mechanical engineers for construction, setting up different facilities, and then civil engineers. So I got to understand that it's not purely operating companies there, so you have contractors and subcontractors that are looking for different talent. And yeah, so that's what I learned about it. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, so what I know about the Uganda oil and gas is that we are having two reservoirs. We are having the one of Kingfisher and Tilenga, and Kingfisher is the people in charge of Kingfisher. It's Sinok, and then also Total in charge of Tilenga. Yeah, and also we had a trip at these places, and we also went to Kabale and realized that the oil and gas industry wants to see the Ugandans, the citizens in this industry, like take up opportunities in this industry, yeah, in all levels, starting from the skilled, the unskilled, and the semi-skilled. Yeah, so us as students, we are here to hear more from you and to learn more from you about the opportunities. Thank you.
There's a lady here. Okay, yeah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Natamba Gladys, and I visited the oil fields. That was like in 2024 when I was doing my internship at UNOC.
What did you learn? What was your, did you meet your expectations? What did you learn? What did you know about Uganda's oil and gas sector?
Yes, I would say I met my expectations, and the first thing that was surprising in the field is that we had only like 25% of petroleum engineers in the field. That implies that all the professionals are being employed in the oil and gas. And also I came to learn how close we are to the oil production, unlike the narrative around that oil is not yet out, we are going to produce oil in 2030. But when you reach in the field, you actually realize how close we are. And from what I've been seeing through the internet and LinkedIn, I think we have all come to a conclusion that we might have our first oil this year. And that was witnessed when I went there, because we found most of the projects or most of the constructions was around 80% complete. And also one thing that I learned is that most of the students, we only know about these big companies, Total, UNOC, Sinok, PAU, Ministry of Energy. We don't know about the contractor companies that are actually operating in the oil fields. Only we find like Total has only 2 employers there. UNOC has actually like 1. And these, when we talk about, you go to these other contractor companies like Sinopec, these other small companies, they're actually employing many young people, but we the young people do not have enough knowledge about them or how they advertise. We don't get to know, and yet we are here unemployed when the jobs are also there, but we don't have enough knowledge about it. So I would actually like to request you to also give us knowledge on how to come to know about these other companies that are employing the youth. Thank you.
Thank you. The last one, then I ask another question.
Morning, everyone. I'm Teddy. I happen to be among the people who visited Chikube from MAST. I think it was last year. Then we learned that we have 2 reservoirs, one from Tilenga that is managed by Total, and another one at Kingfisher that is managed by Sinok. At Kingfisher, we have about 30 wells to be drilled. I think by then 4 were complete. Then at Tilenga, there are about 200 something wells that have to be drilled. Then another thing is that for our oil, it is sweet oil. That is whiskey. It is conch. It has to be heated for it to move. By that time, they were laying the pipes that is being supervised by ECOP. Then, when we went to Kabale, they told us they are going to build there a refinery, because I think the airport were some good percentage about to be completed. Then we would like to as a student pursuing petroleum engineering, I think I would like to know more about how we can package ourselves to fit in the field or to take up the opportunities. Because when they were telling us, they told us that the oils that we have for now will run for about 25 years, meaning if we can get up the opportunities, our jobs are secured for some good years. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. How many of you have not visited oil fields or Petroleum Authority of Uganda or any oil company or haven't participated in Skills Expo? Raise your hands. Okay. How many of you know about Uganda's oil and gas sector? Those who have not visited, I want those who have not visited, but those who have some information on Uganda's oil and gas sector. I'll need two people, a lady and a gentleman, at least to give me what do you know about Uganda's oil and gas sector. Then that will set our conversation this morning. We need gender balance. Since we have a gentleman, the other one should be a lady.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Muhangi Edward, and I'm doing petroleum engineering year 2. What I understand about Uganda's oil and gas sector out of research and probably...
Which course do you do?
Petroleum engineering year 2. One, Uganda's oil and gas sector is more about protection of biodiversity, but secondly, it's about empowering communities. As someone who comes from the oil and gas region, that is Hoima City, I understand there is a lot of prioritization in terms of empowering these communities. For example, giving them access to education, then allowing oil and gas sector to be a bridge to non-renewables, but then thirdly, trying as much as possible to uplift these communities, because oil and gas is discovered in a region that is not well developed. For example, Lisa, Chikove, Nuoya. So there is a very, very high role that government is playing towards making sure that these communities benefit from oil and gas sector. But secondly, and what has really surprised or maybe to some extent disappointed me, is the idea that Uganda's oil and gas sector has not yet brought or absorbed many people or many students who have taken up the course of petroleum engineering. Most people there who are employed are people that have diplomas from UPIC in Chigumba, from St. Simon Peter's Vocational Training Center. So people have come to Mass to attain bachelor's degrees. You most likely find out that there are very few people who are there. Why? Because the question becomes, you don't have the skills. The last time I tried to get a skill that was from Sinopec, I was told that you are a student, right? So you won't have ample time to attend to this particular training. Realize now it implies that the company is there, that is maybe, I won't point out PAU or any other organization, but they are into, I don't know if I'm wrong, but they are prioritizing courses that are very much into hands-on, I can say diploma courses. Yeah. But what I've liked about it from research is the idea that they are trying to uplift those communities. But then another challenge towards that is, if every person who applies to be there, the first thing they say, this opportunity is only exclusive to people around the oil and gas regions. For example, Bunyoro region. That has been the reality. If you have tried to apply for internship placement there or chance to learn from them, they tell you, are you a member of these particular communities? So I've discovered that oil and gas sector of Uganda is more about empowering these communities in the oil and gas areas, which is somehow not fair in terms of uplifting every person who has chosen to take up this particular course. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can we have a lady most preferable from a non-petroleum rated course? She's there?
Good morning. My name is Kemgisha Kellen. I do mechanical engineering. So what I know about the Uganda's oil and gas sector is that it is in the Albertine region in the western part of the country. Then I also know about its projects. There is the Tilenga and Kingfisher project. Then also ECOP, where I want to do my internship from, but they only want one person, unfortunately. Yeah, then there is also the Uganda refinery project. That is all I know. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I think that was the icebreaker we have. We've really shared, and it is going also to inform our presentation. Before I call the next presenter, those who gave us their ideas, please, those who participated, just come first, then we have also another discussion. I'll request my colleague to give you some few notebooks.
Yes, good morning. I think as I would want to really applaud Barrow University for, having this, preparing for this career fair. I think it's a good one to have. But before I delve into the presentation and what I have for you guys, I'm Derek Katusime. I work as a senior petroleum engineer at the Petroleum Authority of Uganda. And it's really an opportunity for me to deliver this presentation. I've seen very familiar faces. Some I've seen on LinkedIn. There is a guy who was holding the Petro Ball trophy. Huh? One of these two guys. Yeah, congratulations. And yeah, I'm really, I think this generation is full of very smart guys. Just don't lose the hope, keep the fire burning, and the future is yours. So before I start the presentation, I would want to talk about a small experience that I had when I was joining university. So on this very first day, as I was, very excited to join the university, I grabbed my book and I was rushing to the university. So I rushed into university, very serious, walking, nodding my head to whoever would give me time to look at me, and as if I was going for a serious meeting. So I entered this lecture room, sat in the front row, immediately opened my big notebook and started taking notes. So after about 20 minutes, I realized that I was there was some level of silence in the room, and I realized that I was the only person writing. Only to stop and pause, and the lecturer was just giving a preamble of what the lecture was about. And even before I could, kind of understand where I was, I found myself in a third-year class of veterinary medicine. And the topic was, how do you treat a cow? Now, that experience taught me two things. One is always be mindful of where you're going. And two, even when you are not certain of where you're going, at least you learn one or two things. And I think that is, I kept thinking about that, and it's a good thing for today. Most of you, some of you are not, wondering how do we really get into the petroleum industry. We are not doing petroleum engineering. Are we lost? That shouldn't be your worry. Your worry should be, your target should be, how do I salvage my skills in this industry where I am going? So, I think the presentation outline is as it is there. So I'll start by talking about the different energy sources. We have quite a number of energy sources. We have renewable energy, and then the non-renewables. When you talk about the non-renewables, I think that's where the oil, gas, and coal and other mineral elements lie. So these particular minerals have a huge impact in society. For example, if these resources are properly utilized, they have the capacity of lifting up the communities, or poverty eradication, infrastructure development. I was really impressed when I heard the testimonies from the teams that presented, that were giving feedback, where they talked about the different developments they saw, the infrastructure. I believe for those who have been there, you've seen the roads, you've seen the airport, you've seen the facilities that are under construction. It's quite fascinating. Yeah, but these non-renewables, they are here for a short time. As someone mentioned, 25 years, but that's not the time. Usually the 25 years is usually the time of the license, not the time for when the resource will get done. But then I'll talk about that in the subsequent slides. But these non-renewable resources come from somewhere. And particularly oil and gas resources. I believe this slide could be boring for the petroleum engineers, but for the non-petroleum engineers, when you hear oil and gas comes from, millions and millions of years, where you have organic matter being deposited in a basin, and then you have, it is cooked, and then it's able to move into what we call a reservoir. The reservoir has to have certain nice conditions to stop it from migrating, otherwise the oil can move up to the surface. So the oil is kind of moves and it is trapped within these structures in the subsurface. So one that you need to know is that oil and gas is in a sedimentary basin, which is quite big. But then when companies say Total, CNOOC, now UNOC, when they get a basin, they kind of look further into it, pick out the areas that they can pick out this oil, drill the oil, say prospects, and then once they make discoveries, those discoveries are further developed. So the discoveries that are developed are called fields. So that's the sequence. So we have quite a number of sedimentary basins in Uganda, and the most prospective is the Albertine Graben. That's where we're having most of the action, where we have all the companies having the facility development, the exploration, and all that. However, we also have other very good basins. We have the Hoima Basin, just next to the Albertine Graben, right here. Then we have the Lake Choga Basin. It's a little bit young, but it's a basin that with high prospectivity. Then we have the Morotoka Dam in northeastern Uganda, and then also other basins. I know the petroleum engineers probably have heard of the Lake Wamala Basin, and then also Lake Victoria itself is a basin on its own. Now, for us to appropriately regulate the oil and gas industry in this country, we have to have kind of like a structure. And this structure is derived mainly from the petroleum value chain. Now, the key, or what comes first in terms of oil and gas governance in this country is that you have to have a working document, which is usually a policy. The first policy was drafted in 2008, and that was the National Oil and Gas Policy, which last year was updated into the National Petroleum Policy. And now this policy covers from throughout the whole petroleum value chain, from the upstream to the midstream and to the downstream. And below the different subsections, you have the attendant regulation. But mainly in the exploration, in the upstream, you have the exploration, you have development, you have production, and you also have decommissioning. While in the midstream, you have the transportation, you have the refining. Someone was talking about the National Refining Company. So we're having the refining discussion ongoing. We have the gas processing. As a matter of fact, our oil comes with gas. So that gas will be able to process it and reduce on the biomass usage, reduce the price of gas that we have at our fuel stations. And then we have the downstream. Currently, the downstream is being regulated by the Petroleum Supplies Department at the Ministry of Energy. Now, the regulations that the legal framework gives birth to the institutional framework that helps, or that gives birth to the institutions that we serve in. And it is very important for all of you to know the different institutions or the different arms and what they do. First is that you have the ministry, and the ministry is largely for policy formulation. For example, when you talk about the oil and gas policy, it's the ministry that takes the front foot in coming up with the oil and gas policy. Then secondly, the ministry itself is in charge of marketing our fields. For example, some of you have had, one of the, I think, Teddy, who was with UNOC. You probably visited Kasurubani. So the ministry is in charge of ensuring that these different blocks, you have Kasurubani, you have different prospects, others are down south, others are up north. These ones are properly marketed, and we kind of welcome oil and gas players from around the world to come and participate. Now, once these companies participate, bidding process and all that, so they are awarded licenses at the end of the day. From that point of awarding licenses, that's when the authority now steps in. So the authority is in charge of monitoring and regulating all upstream and midstream petroleum activities. So when a company is given a license, the authority basically is in charge of ensuring that everything is done in compliance to the regulation, and then there is no breach in these different regulations. Then you have UNOC. What UNOC does basically is in charge of the state's commercial interests. For example, once we start trading our oil, UNOC will be the one in charge of ensuring that the oil that is produced in Uganda, or our oil, is traded at a competitive price, and that money is back to the treasury. Then also, it also goes ahead to create joint ventures across the petroleum value chain, as you will see on the next slide. Now, some of the entities that the authority regulates, as I said, both upstream and midstream. So in the upstream, you have exploration and appraisal. Currently, we have UNOC in the exploration and appraisal phase, where they are trying to develop the Kasurubani contract area. So this is just, it's located below the Tilenga project. Then under the development and production phase, you have Total Energies, you have CNOC, and then you have, again, UNOC. As you may recall, UNOC is one of its key mandates is to ensure that it creates joint venture within along the whole value chain. So you find that it's a joint venture partner with CNOC and UNOC, and even in the midstream, where you have transportation, refining, and gas processing, you have it there as a joint venture partner in the ECOP shareholders. Then under the refinery project, we have a company that's called Alpha. This company is currently doing its feasibility. It took oil samples to check what kind of facilities do we need to have, to build a fit for purpose refinery in the country. Then one of the colleagues, I think it was Teddy again, who kind of really massacred this slide. She said that, we shouldn't focus on PAU, UNOC, CNOC, Total, and all these companies. We have other companies out there. So my colleagues will talk probably more about this, but we have tier 1 companies. Those are the ones that are directly contracted by these companies, the key players that we talk about. And then we have the tier 2s, which are subcontractors of the tier 1s. So when we were at peak, we had about 1,200 companies, executing these different projects. Okay, I see my slide is in the wall. But right there, we have basically all the projects that are ongoing currently. You have the Tilenga project, you have the Kingfisher project, you have the ECOP, and then you also have the feeder line that will be from the refinery to the storage terminal in Kampala. So the Tilenga project is being developed with about 420 wells. And these 420 wells are being drilled in 6 oil fields. It's not one oil field in Tilenga, there are 6 oil fields. So you have one in the north called Jobiri. You have 5 down south. That's in Jiri, Gunya, Kasamene Wairindi, Chigogole, and then you have the other one I skipped. Yeah, but there are 5. So of those 6, all the flow lines that will be coming from the fields will be tied into the central processing facility, where we'll be producing about 190,000 barrels of oil per day. And this particular project is valued at about $6 billion. Then you have the Kingfisher, which will be developed with 31 wells on 4 well pads. And again, all this will go into each separate central processing facility, which is valued at about $2 billion. And then you have ECOP. ECOP is, it has the world record of being the longest heated oil pipeline, it beating the previous world record that was held by Mangala, India. This one is valued at about $4 billion. And then you have the Kabalega Industrial Park, which has the airport that some of you have witnessed. And then you will have the refinery, you'll have the petrochemical industries right there. And this one is also valued at about $4 billion. Right here, this is the video that was playing before the presentation. and it's about the progress of the oil and gas project. Yeah.
Oil and gas frontier comprises 4 major projects. The Tilenga project will produce up to 190,000 barrels of oil per day. The Kingfisher project will produce up to 40,000 barrels of oil per day. The East African Crude Oil Pipeline, which is the world's most technologically smart oil pipeline that will transport Uganda's crude oil from Uganda to the East African coast. At Kabalega Industrial Park, the Uganda Refinery project will transform crude oil into fuel for homes, industries and progress. It is not only about oil and gas revenues. It is also about opportunities for jobs, training and acquiring skills, enterprise development and technology transfer, with Ugandans at the heart of this development. Uganda is protecting its natural heritage and rich biodiversity while advancing its bright energy future. With investment of close to $20 billion, Uganda's oil and gas projects will provide energy to power Uganda's development and boost growth in agriculture, transport, tourism, manufacturing, infrastructure, and beyond. This is Uganda's journey toward energy security, economic growth, and a brighter future. At the heart of regulating these developments for the last 10 years stands the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, with a mission of creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
Thank you. Now, some of you may be wondering, you've talked about the engineering, you've talked about whatever is happening on this project. But allow me welcome my colleague who is going to now tell you some of the benefits and impacts within this sector. So you'll basically transition from the engineering, the geoscience and whatsoever, and look at how you really integrate into the benefits of the others. Thank you. Sorry, in case there are other questions, we can, pause a bit from the presentation that I've just completed. Feel free to, clarifications, questions that I can attend to.
We can have a round of questions.
Thank you. The protocol observed. I'm by names of Atweta Brian. I'm doing civil, Bachelor of Science in Civil, year 2. And my question goes, as per what have been displayed and what we have been hearing or following in the oil sector in Uganda, I would like to know, why was it made to decision that they drill oil from Uganda and they refine it from Kenya? And what could be the benefits and what could have been the benefits when we drill it from our own country? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Anthony Katera, and my question is, we as petroleum engineers, young engineers, we would like to know the problems faced in the energy sector, the ones that you are studying to solve.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I'm called Aaron Peter Oder. Yeah, my question is just, we have seen a lot of sedimentary basins which exist in Uganda, but production is still taking place for only the Albertine Graben. So I would like to know how far these other basins, how far have we reached? Is it still exploration process, or we have gone some extra mile beyond that already? Thank you.
Okay, maybe I'll take in groups of three, yeah? The questions. Thank you, Brian, Anthony, and Aaron. I hope I got your questions right. But one, Brian, when you mentioned that why are we drilling from Uganda and picking oil in Kenya? Was that the question? Okay, thank you very much. Let me just put this into perspective. When you look at this slide, the current drilling operations are ongoing in the Albertine Graben. On the western side, our neighbor is Congo. On the eastern side, our neighbor is Kenya. On the northern, it's Sudan. Below, it's Tanzania, Rwanda. So I would want to guess why we are drilling our oil from Congo. That was the question, not Kenya. Refining. Yeah.
Thank you so much. His question was, why do we have oil and gas projects in Uganda? Maybe he's asking about ECOP and transported through ECOP to Tanzania, but maybe he lacked some information. Yes, I will make this clarity, and we are here also to give you a clear information. ECOP is a transportation route. It is a gateway to the port. You know, Uganda is a landlocked country, so we don't have access to international market. It is only done from either Tanzania or Kenya. So this case, ECOP goes through Tanzania, through Tanga port. About refinery, the oil we export through Tanzania will go to different markets, different countries, depending on the country that we will need or will buy and refine that oil. But also, we are developing a refinery. Derek talked about 60,000 barrels that is going to be developed in Kabareg Industrial Park in Hoima, that is developed by Alpha MBM with Uganda National Oil Company. Last year, we signed an implementation agreement with Alpha MBM and UNOC, and now they are doing some works, including front-end engineering design and environmental social impact assessment studies. Those will enable the starting of construction of refinery. I think I've answered you. It does not mean that we'll take to Kenya and refine, or Tanzania refine from there. When the refinery is ready, we'll refine from here, but we are taking it there to sell and get market and get some income. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Saif. Brian, I hope that answers your question. Okay, perfect. Then Anthony was inquiring about the problems that we are currently facing in the sector. Was that the question? Anthony? Okay, yeah. Now, we've had a couple of challenges in the past. For example, you've had of the fight against ECOP, trying to say that this is a bad project, it's going to, fight the decarbonization agenda for the world and things like that. But this has, we've had a team of environmentalists really do evaluation on the carbon footprint of the Albertine Graben and basically the entire project. And we've gone ahead to realize that we actually have the lowest carbon footprint in this in oil and gas projects. Then additionally, when you look at the decarbonization campaign that we have, say along ECOP, we are going to plant about 150,000 trees. So these will help also in the decarbonization campaign. So this has been, I think, the top of agenda on one of the challenges that we've had, and we've been able to combat it. And also it was further affecting the financing of this particular project. But by and large, it's now a problem that we just talk about in terms of the challenges that we've been able to overcome. And I think the other challenge that we probably face is, you know, the exploration that most of the exploration companies have, you know, left. Most of the licenses have expired and things like that. But as I talk now, the ministry is working on a strategy or on a plan to relicense some of these acreages. So you have a very prospective area up north, just next to the Tilenga project. It's called the Jobi East and Impio, where they have drilled over 21 wells. And all these 21 wells, 95% were discoveries, were actually hitting oil. So that whole area is going to be put up for relicensing. And I'm very positive that we'll have more licenses coming on board. Then talking of, going to Aaron's question, the prospectivity of other basins. Yes, most of the focus has been put on the Albertine Graben, where we are having a lot of exploration, development and production. But then government has also taken up the initiative of looking into the other basins. For example, if you I think there was an article that was published in 2024 about the Moroto-Kadam Basin, the Kadam-Moroto Basin in eastern Uganda, where they said that they had seen a SIP. So once you see a SIP, for the people in oil and gas, you know that is a direct indicator that we have oil in that particular basin. And so they'll probably see how to create the different blocks up for licensing. And I'm very sure in the near future we'll have we'll have licensing on that particular area. Then the other basins, you have the Lake Choga Basin, you have the Lake Victoria Basin, and then you have the Lake Wamala Basins. These are quite young basins. As a matter of fact, studies were done on the Lake Wamala Basin, and they found that the organic matter that is within the Lake Wamala Basin is still undergoing that whole metamorphosis, whereby, you know, undergoing the heating and then pressure and temperature conditions. So it was forming some bit of kerogen. So it's still a young basin, it hasn't yet reached the point of forming oil and gas. Yeah, so maybe I can take another round of questions. Okay. Let's have 3 more, and then we can get the rest at the end.
Thank you so much. I only want to have some clarification. You know, you talked about, Tumshabep is my name. I'm my BSE1 student. You talked about the upstream, midstream, and then refinery. But I wanted us to have a distinct difference of some of the organizations we have in those activities. To me, it sounds like we have a duplicate of organizations doing the same role. You talk of UNOC, you talk of PAU, it doesn't bring out the clear image of which serves this with their boundaries. Then again, you talked about Uganda is planning to have its own refinery. And now my question is, how are we going to account for the pipeline that has been constructed already and it is going to the refineries that we are using apparently in TZ? Isn't it an expense or it was done with poor planning? I think we should have constructed our refinery before having the pipeline. Thank you.
You collected me about the years, and you said that 25 years is for the certification, I think, for those companies that are doing the drilling and and work there. So I would like to inquire for how long our oil can take us so that we can know how to secure our gains.
Yes, good morning. My name is Dan Makawea, second year petroleum engineering student. So considering the life cycle of the reservoir, we know there is the exploration stages, the production, the appraisal, development. So I wanted some clarity on the relevance of some, because most of the professions we're looking into, I know there are people in my class who are interested in doing exploration, getting into the development, but we see from where we are, it's like we're past some stages and we're into production only. So I want to know, okay, you highlighted on the prospectivity of the different basins, so there might be some hope there, but then I would also need clarity on, that the uncertainties that are hanging in space, that Uganda does not have like a really long time of oil production in place, and that probably in the next 30 or 40 years to come, Uganda's oil will be done. So we need like some clarification on that and assurance so that people are not in fear. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I'll get those. I can assure Dalmak and my sister here that just be calm. You're in the right profession, and you'll get the, once you show interest, the jobs will be there. So I'll start with Mushumba, right? I think Mushumba, who asked about the duplication, yes, right here. Duplication of institutions. I'll leave that to my colleague, he'll be able to attend to it. However, I'll attend to the issue of the refinery project and why the refinery came first. Why the pipeline came first and not the refinery. So when you are when the companies did a lot of due diligence. Before this project started, companies never wanted to have a discussion on the refinery. However, government insisted that, look here, we need value addition. We'll not just churn out our crude with no benefit to the country. This discussion prolonged the decision on where these companies could go ahead and finally invest in the country. You recall that the FID, the final investment decision, was taken in 2021. However, between 2021 and 2014, we already had commercial discoveries. But that period was a transition period where we are having all these debates. Why do we need the refinery? Why does government need a refinery? It's not profitable for us. We should only do the ECOP and then put the oil out. But our government put a stand that the refinery should be in country. However, to make the projects profitable, they ensured that you first deal with the export, as we also fast track the refinery. Currently, the export pipeline is ready. It will be taking out, the overall production from both fields will be about 230,000 barrels of oil. However, the refinery, on the other hand, will be taking in about 60,000 barrels of oil per day. That quantity is able to meet the demand of East Africa, the whole of East Africa, not just Uganda. So with 60,000 barrels of oil per day going to the refinery, you're able to meet the demand of the East African market, and the balance, you're able to meet the international market. So there's kind of a balance of trade in between having the refinery and also the ECOP. Then the 25 years of the production, the 25 years is the production license. when you come, when a company applies for a production license, the law says that the production license should be 25 years, and also it could be extended by only 5 years. That does not mean that the oil will be over in 25 years. So this oil will stay there. For example, our fields, you'll find that the recovery factor is about 35% using the technology that we have today. The technology that we are going to use today was not there 40 years ago, 20 years ago. So you'll find that countries like, say, Norway, that made its first discovery in the 1970s. Even to this very day, they are still producing oil. But it's because they've had changes in technology. You'll find that Norway today will have a field that has a recovery factor of more than 50%. So that means in 1970, they probably had a recovery factor of about 30%, depending on the type of crude that they have. So currently, say with the combined overall volumes that we have in the Graben of about 6.5 billion barrels, our current recovery factor will recover roughly above 1.2 billion barrels. But as technology transitions and as research comes, research is tested, we may see ourselves extending oil production even over 40 years. So the whole narrative of this industry will die out after 25 is just put it as background noise and focus on your key targets. Then the exploration, Dalmat was talking about, we are currently in production. What will happen since we don't have new resources coming on board? I would want to assure you that we have quite a number of prospects that have been untapped. For example, when you look at the developments that we have currently, all the developments are onshore. Nothing has been done on Lake Albert, and Lake Albert alone has quite a number of prospects. So once we start offshore discovery, we may be able to add more volumes onto the current existing 6.5 billion barrels. So, and that is only on Lake Albert. You have down south in Lake George, the Lake George Basin, Lake Edward and George Basin. Then you have the Moroto-Kadam Basin. All these basins will be explored, and once discoveries are made, we'll be able to put up development strategies for these areas to be developed. I think I'll leave it at this. I'll let my colleague continue. Oh, plus one more.
Well, someone asked about duplication of loads. These are three major institutional entities. One, oil and gas was guided by Oil and Gas Policy of 2008. Then we had Petroleum Exploration, Development and Production Act of 2013 that gave different laws to different entities. It gave different mandates. So we have Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, their load is policy formulation, investment promotion, and licensing. So any company you will see, Total, UNOC, SUNOC, every company that is here doing oil and gas work is licensed by Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. Then, after Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development has finished licensing, these companies are handed over to Petroleum Authority of Uganda to monitor and regulate. Now we are currently monitoring and regulating upstream and midstream subsector. But of course, we have an amendment going on. They may bring downstream to Petroleum Authority of Uganda very soon. But currently we are regulating only those two aspects. Then we ensure compliance. So those who have visited the field, every field you visited, at least we have a Petroleum Authority of Uganda monitor. Monitoring activity is 24 hours. Then we have Uganda National Oil Company. Uganda National Oil Company, their mandate is commercial aspect. They do business. They are joint ventures with Total and Sinok. And we hope even in the future, Uganda National Oil Company, we will go, you'll find it's like now the Total you see. Because even Sinok started as a NOC, as a national oil company. So there is no duplication of laws, there is no duplication of mandate. This is worldwide the best practice. Even you'll find countries that started producing before getting this regulatory framework, they are going into this. So I think it is clear and understandable to you. Okay, thank you.
So good afternoon to you. My name is Christine Nachoni, and I am the National Supplier Database Administrator, and I work with a department which looks at the different investments that are being suggested, and we work out the optimal values and the amounts that need to be channeled into the refinery, into the pipeline, in order for us to say that we need this infrastructure. So, looking at how we've benefited from the investment so far, we have had a lot of skilling, like you've talked about. Over 14,000 Ugandans are trained. That is in Makerere University, UPIC, and TASC. We have acquired international accreditation to be able to provide training in the different universities that I've just mentioned. We've also had technology transfer through joint ventures. Our companies have been encouraged to partner with the foreign companies, and through this, they are awarded contracts. We encourage them to take on Ugandans, just like Gladys told you. There are Ugandans who are attached, even some of you, I'm glad to hear you've been attached as trainees. So that is how we ensure that our Ugandans get hands-on skills. People have benefited through employment. Over 18,000 people are directly employed. You find that we have agreements with the companies to take on Ugandans under different categories. We have management, we have technical, and then we also have those other, the low-skilled laborers whom we pick from the host districts. Those of you who have visited at least have talked about this. There has been industrialization. We look at the industrial park. We've also seen the refinery, which is upcoming, and of course others that will be following. We've encouraged the use of locally produced goods and services. And out of this, we've been able to get, as Ugandan companies, we've been able to get 2.2 USD going to the Ugandan entities. We've encouraged local and economic and social development. You've talked about the infrastructure. Those of you who went to Hoima some time back, if you go back now, you notice that the place is very different. The roads, the industries, the place is now growing at a very fast rate. We've also benefited through the revenues. We have 1 to 2.5 billion coming to Uganda every year. We have tax contribution. You will find that much of the taxes that are being collected now are coming from the oil projects. There has been an investment of over 60 coming in through the foreign domestic investment. That was our figure in 2022. We have led to the growth of linkages in other sectors. Many of you have been visiting the oil projects. That means there has been a growth in tourism. There is a growth in health, manufacturing, education, and other fields. And our small and medium capacity industries have grown, and that is mainly in the health and safety, because looking at how our locals do their businesses, we've had to ensure that they are trained in this to be able to grow further. You know, those of you who have seen, like, the welding that we do here is not the same as the one that we do in oil and gas. So we've had to do a lot of skilling to ensure that our companies are up to speed to be able to do work at an international level. There has been a lot of knowledge and technology transfer. And this, of course, we are expecting that with what we've brought in, your university is expected to have a role to play in this, because for us, as of now, we are using the state-of-art technology. But your role is to come up with better technologies to ensure that we can recover more oil from our wells.
Directly affected by acquisition of land for project activities have been improved through targeted resettlement, compensation, and livelihood restoration programs. Farmers are receiving support to enhance productivity, food security, and commercialize agriculture. Youth are gaining skills that open doors to employment and entrepreneurship. Women are empowered through financial inclusion and community leadership initiatives that strengthen the social fabric of our nation. Education, health, clean water, and road upgrade projects are uplifting families and building resilience in areas hosting the oil and gas activities. Through collaboration with community leaders, civil society, and development partners, Uganda is building a future of shared prosperity. At the heart of regulating these developments for the last 10 years stands the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, with a mission of creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey. In Uganda's oil and gas journey, the citizen. In Uganda's oil and gas journey, the citizen.
So looking at the employment opportunities that we have in oil and gas, we have different levels. And indeed, if you're not hearing these, like the office jobs that you're expecting, maybe you're right to an extent, because looking at this project, we had many of the jobs that are going to come out of this are at the level of engineering, control. Like you can see the numbers that we projected out of our baseline study. We saw that we would have engineers, 340 positions. We had mechanical engineering, control operations, geological engineering, over 112 positions. We expected maintenance engineering, and that is 103 positions. Then at level 3, here we looked at technicians, and we intended to attach mechanical technicians, 722, instrumentation technicians, 465, logistics and supply chain management, we had 314 positions, electrical technicians, we had a projection of 280, drilling rig operations and technicians, 187. Then we had a category we labeled as trades and crafts, and that took in welders, engineers, civil engineers, structural engineering, and then welding, scaffolding, mechanical technicians, and related trades. And we have been attaching these as we go on. Then under level 1, where we are looking at basic skills, we had large numbers, over close to 4,000, like you can see, for the civil and structural engineering and related laborers. Then for hospitality and catering, we had over 1,000 positions, and for security, 915. Drilling rig and related laborers, 645. Oil field production, we looked at 280. But these are not the only careers that we are looking at, because, of course, out of there, we have others that are employed, like myself. I'm an IT person, and I heard many of you have done IT. So we stretch beyond. We have a system called the National Oil and Gas Talent Register, where we encourage students like you to register, and this helps you to upload your certificates and wait for any trainings that will be advertised on that platform. So you keep checking there, and when a training comes, when any internship opportunity shows up, you apply for it through the system, or at least you get to know that something is out there for you. So that is a system that you should take advantage of. So looking at Petroleum Authority of Uganda and how it's structured, opportunities that you can position yourself to take up in the future, we have a section that is dealing with resource management. Under here, they look at the description of resources and ensure there is optimum recovery, and commercialization, that is refining and transportation. Then we have one which deals with cost monitoring. I didn't hear many of you talk about business-related courses, but this is where you would fall. There we look at the approval of work, programs and budgets, and the profitability of the projects. So anyone who is looking at doing anything business-related will come in under there. Then we have another dealing with petroleum data management. And here, they will be looking, they are the custodians of the E&P data, that is exploration and production data. Then we have another that is focusing on health, safety, security, social and environment management. Here, they focus on the coexistence of oil and gas and biodiversity, you very well know that oil reserves are in the place where we have a lot of wildlife, so we have a section dealing with that. They will also do the decommissioning when we are done with the project. Next, we have the national content. And here we are looking at the participation of Ugandans in the provision of goods and services. We look at capacity building and technology transfer and the linkages with other sectors. But still, beyond that, we have geoscientists, engineers, we have statisticians, we have economists, we have ICT and database technicians. You know very well that our pipeline is going to be collecting information about itself, so there is a lot of data that is going to be generated. So IT experts and all the people who are handling data, you can also position yourself for that. We have lawyers. Remember, we are regulators. We have accountants, auditors. We also take in communications and social sciences, administrators, and human resource.
The Petroleum Authority of Uganda ensures that Ugandans remain at the forefront of this journey. To date, Ugandan companies have secured contracts worth over $2.2 billion, representing nearly 30% of all contracts awarded. The National Suppliers Database showcases over 2,300 Ugandan companies, connecting them to sector opportunities and demonstrating Uganda's growing competitive capacity. Employment in the sector has surpassed 150,000 jobs, with over 90% held by Ugandans. More than 14,000 Ugandans have acquired globally recognized technical skills backed by international certification. To build on this momentum, 15 training institutions across Uganda now offer internationally skilled professionals with job opportunities in the sector. Technology transfer is actively promoted through over 35 joint ventures and strategic equipment donations to vocational and technical institutions, driving innovation and capacity enhancement. Through conferences, skills expos, and supplier development programs, the private sector is being prepared to seize both current and future opportunities. At the heart of regulating these developments for the last 10 years stands the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, with a mission of creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
Okay, thank you very much. We've just finished our second segment, and maybe it's about time we took questions. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Are we there? Let's just stand up for a few. God loves you. Say God loves you. Okay. We need a bit of space to stretch. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. I think let's take a few questions as we are standing up, and then we can go on to the next segment. My colleague Christine has just taken you through the second segment. So if we could just have like 3 questions, burning questions, we'll have a session at the end where we can take in more questions. Okay. Do we have another microphone that can go around? Oh, okay.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Mugisha Marvin, and I have some couple of questions. My first question is about the experience gap. Whenever we're applying, maybe after your degree, some jobs are applied with the experience gap. Yet during your offers for internship, we are given 6 to 3 months. And so the industry just started looking at that, then letting us just down. Then another one is about the, let me say, the curriculum mismatch. The industry is taking on people who have done, let me say, more practical things. We are here at campus, we are taking on theory for the 4 years. The more thing is about theory. And so the industry, if I'm not wrong, the PAL works under the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, right? So it's sitting, it can't literally advise the Ministry of Education that let's maybe put the things into practical more side, then the theory comes later. Then another one is about, we fear the future or the globe is advancing to renewable energy. So I'm here doing my petroleum. You know, after some of us, like Dante, is like, I will do my master's, my PhD. So in long run, you will see you are literally, partially maybe wasting a lot of his time investing in education, yet the globe is shifting to the renewable energies. Thank you.
Okay, you have 3 questions in one. Maybe just we take on, and any of us will attempt these questions. So,
all right.
Yes.
Allow me. So I want to ask about the Miss. She talked about the National Oil and Gas Talent Register. So basically, as a student, how do I benefit from it? Because I've gone through it. It talks about your experience, what you're learning. Jobs are posted there, and yeah, you don't have experience. How will they take you? How will you get spotted from the National Oil and Gas Register? And most times, some of us have tried to apply to PAO for internship or something like that, but most of us have gotten a reply. Register on the National NOGTR, but for the I've been registered on this app for the last like 2 years, but I didn't see the internship openings. So we're like, okay, yeah, you're referring us to this place, but there's no.
Thank you very much.
So thank you.
Thank you. Christine is going to take on that NOGTR question. Yes.
Thank you so much. My name is Adam Katongole, and I'm a student of I'm doing civil engineering. I have 2 questions. My first question is, well, you guys have talked of taking over also downstream, so at least you have information about that. If UNOC is now the sole importer of fuel, how do existing exclusive private sector logistic arrangements fit into this model? And are we truly centralizing the supply chain or just shifting where control begins? I can try to explain that question. We have the Mahathi project, that's I think by Captain Mike Mukula, respectfully. He's doing transportation of fuel. But then you guys are saying policies are coming in to only centralize importation to the government. So are you guys doing what's possible? Sorry. Sorry, is SINOC, the stakeholders, I'm very sorry, doing what's possible, or they're actually implementing what is good for the country? And then my second question is, from the slides, the previous presenter talked about the job openings that are available. And I saw civil engineering, and I'm very happy for that. I didn't know. However, there's a level where you left out civil engineering. I think it was level 3. So, yeah, I think it's level 3 technicians there. I don't see any civil engineering there. So my question is, what is level 3, what is level 2, what is level 1? And when we are studying civil engineering, how are we, and that's the third question, how is Petroleum Authority of Uganda coming in to show engineers that, okay, you can actually be a civil engineer, but in the petroleum field, not in the trainings, but in the curriculum alignment and all that? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Saith, you take on the downstream question. I think, okay, maybe one more. Okay. I see he's even putting on the Sinopec jacket. Well done.
Good afternoon, colleagues. My name is Nkobazambogo Moses, MIE student. And my emphasis is on the upcoming refinery, which is now the next big thing after ECOP. We all know that our petroleum industry is mostly relying on shareholding with other contractors, both in Kingfisher and also Tilenga. So I'd like to know our standing as a nation in the upcoming agreement with the UAE-based Alpha. And also I'd like to know its boost in the employment, the estimated jobs which are going to come out of that. And also, finally, my emphasis is also on the policies. Currently, if you are in the Albertine regions, we usually find it hard to get jobs when it comes into the mining industries, whereby most cases they usually favor the community, people who are always around those projects. And they mostly take in the semi-skilled labor guys from Chigumba. It's not that we have a beef on them, but that's always our main threat when it comes to getting jobs there. So what are the existing policies when it comes to workmanship? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think let's take that round. Yeah, it's okay, we can sit. Yeah? I thought Gumita, I thought would stand for all these hours. So my colleague, Seth, will quickly take on the downstream. Christine will handle the NOG-TR. Derek, would you like to handle the refinery question? Sorry? You prefer the refinery? Okay, this is the refinery guy. It's comfortable. So I'll start with a few of other questions. The experience gap. Marvin raised 3 questions. Indeed, yes, sometimes you'll find that the number or the depth of experience required is relatively higher because, like I mentioned, the oil and gas sector is, it aspires to the highest level of safety culture, highest level of safety practices, because we know how risky it is. Any blowout, any mismatch, any mishap, whether you're drilling the pipeline, whether you're assembling the pipeline, or doing your drilling work, can be very costly. So you find that they prefer personnel or people with a certain level of experience. And so that's why you find that most times, especially for technical jobs that are highly specialized, yes, you'll find that the level of experience is high. And with Uganda's sector, it's relatively new. We still have to walk that journey to develop experience and competencies. But there are efforts to sort of bridge that gap. There are specific trainings. For some of us that might not be aware, one, the oil companies have training plans every year. These training plans are submitted to the Petroleum Authority of Uganda that reviews them and approves them. And these training plans are supposed to train Ugandans to build their competencies, to build their capabilities, their skills, and of course over time acquire that experience to now occupy those specific jobs. So that's the first gate of training, specific training programs and plans by the IOCs. In addition to that, we have some of the opportunities that we'll look at, the internship, the graduate trainee, where we can acquire different exposure and skills. Those opportunities are given by the licensees and their contractors. Gladys mentioned that she hears there are other companies other than the licensees. Indeed, there are quite a number. From the slide that Derek displayed, there were thousands of contractors other than the licensees. We will probably have the time to look at them, but if you go to the website, for instance, ECOP, PAU, and Total, you'll likely be able to see those companies. In addition to that, this is something we'll keep on emphasizing, that the skills that you're acquiring, the knowledge, the training is transferable, okay? So you don't have to necessarily acquire experience in the oil and gas sector. Derek will tell you later. This first segment it was just to give you an overview of the sector. We have the next segment that is focused on now the career issues. But you will hear that most of us, if not all of us, acquired experience outside oil and gas sector, but relevant to the oil and gas sector. So if you're looking for experience, if you're looking for opportunities, you don't have to focus on Total, you don't have to focus on CNOC to look for that internship. There could be a construction company that is working on the road. There could be a drilling company that is drilling boreholes somewhere. Those are spaces that you can consider to seek for these opportunities, because you now be able to gradually acquire that experience that now will help you when you transition into oil and gas sector. There are several disciplines you have seen, and they are not labeled oil and gas. No, they are not labeled oil and gas. There are several disciplines that are transferable, that cut across. So as you seek to gain experience, broaden your thinking, broaden your horizon, look out for opportunities in the other sectors other than oil and gas. Because like you will see, oil and gas is not a mass employer, my friends. It employs a very small segment of people. Direct employment, I think the study that was done in 2014 indicated about 16,000 for Uganda's case. Direct employment. And someone mentioned it, the bulk of these, like you see, are technical jobs, crafts at different levels, and very few of bachelors in this and bachelors in that. So that is something we need to be cognizant about. That yes, it's not a mass employer, but also we can acquire this experience from other sectors of the economy and then input them into the oil and gas sector. Then curricular mismatch, good observation. At the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, what we do as well is to engage in curriculum review. We have received several proposals, several requests from different universities to review and give guidance. And we've done our part. We've provided guidance on the depth and breadth of the course content, but also there have been attempts to have it more practical. There have been exposures to the field, like some of you have had an opportunity. They've been train the trainer. I don't know whether we've had an opportunity as Zimbabwe University to benefit from the train the trainer, where you have at least hands-on or a close engagement with the technical teams to be able to sort of harmonize our curriculum, our teaching methodologies with the requirements of the sector. But also there's an association called Oil and Gas Trainers Association, which this university is a part of. Now that association dialogues or discusses on issues to do with the curriculum, the challenges in terms of training, what can be done to improve the current curriculum to make sure that the students are ready for the sector, either oil and gas or the other sectors. So I agree that sometimes you find there's a mismatch, but there are indeed efforts to make sure that that is aligned. You had a question on renewable energy. I propose that we pack it. We have a slide on energy transition. Maybe we can address it. We can address it when we get there. I'll request my colleagues maybe to quickly touch on the other questions. Then we move on to the next segment.
Thank you. I will answer the question on the refinery. On the refinery, someone talked about what is really the expected outcomes in the agreement. Refinery, the agreement we signed, we call it a tolling. It gives us on tolling plan. What does it mean? The oil belongs to the government of Uganda. But Alpha MBM will invest. Actually, all of it is equity. Alpha MBM will invest. Uganda National Oil Company will invest, but they will have a company. I'm just turning it into a layman's language for everyone to understand. Then after, whoever government of Uganda will bring its oil, refine it. Then after refining it, every barrel that is refined, the money is paid to the refinery holding or to the company, which is a joint venture of Uganda National Oil Company and Alpha MBM. So that is the benefit. Of course, we are going to develop a petrochemical industry that will support refinery. Government of Uganda acquired the land of about 29.57 square kilometers. Now it is mandated by Uganda National Oil Company. Those who have been in the field, they know Kabarega Industrial Park, where we have the airport, where we have the refinery, where we have eco pump station. That is what we call Kabare Shared Point. Then after that, now we'll have petrochemical, we have downstream industries, very many things are byproducts of oil and gas. We expect Kabarega Industrial Park to employ close at 30,000 people. So also that is a benefit when the refinery comes in place. I think I've answered you. Maybe if I can be reminded on the downstream question, or Derek, you got it where you can answer?
Yeah, regarding the downstream question, it was mainly about why UNOC being the sole importer and, not the other bulk, the other guys who are buying in bulk. And the benefits, I'll really delve more onto the benefits. Previously, we had a lot of fluctuations on our palm prices. But I can assure you, from the time UNOC signed that agreement with Vitol to import these refined products, petrol, diesel, we've had stability from prices that were up 5,600 per liter, and now previously, just a few months ago, we were in the 4,800. So there's been stability in prices. That's the benefit. It's not something that government is just doing for the benefit of government, but it's something to stabilize the market. Then the other thing you talked about, the other element that I think Mukula importing and then also government, the two, UNOC and the other facility, they import different types of fuels. The other facility mainly focuses on jet fuel and I think paraffin, but I stand to be corrected. But then for the other is UNOC with Veto, they mainly focus on diesel, petrol, and things in that line.
So concerning the question on the NOG TR and not seeing the jobs, our practice in oil and gas is that we want to work under a legal framework. And for every other thing, we've at least had a law in place to ensure that we are protected and we can base on that to push for action. For instance, when we look at the NOG TR, we would love that contractors employ directly from the NOG TR and they disregard any applications coming from elsewhere. But in our discussions, they told us that they are not sure of the quality of Ugandans that will be registering on the NOG TR. That means that we have to give them a leeway to employ from other places where they feel the quality coming through is not good enough. But we are working on a law to ensure that they post all their jobs there. As of now, we negotiate with them and ensure that whoever can posts the jobs and the internship opportunities. But going forward, we will make sure that we are protected by our law, and all opportunities are posted on the NOGTR, so we hope that you'll be able to see them. But in the short run, what we are doing is, when we notice that they've not given an opportunity to Ugandans, then we extract a list from there and give it to them, and we say, you cannot tell us there are no Ugandans with this skill, because on our system, we clearly see we have these names. We've also been involved in calling up the people who are registered on the NOGTR to ensure that they participate. I submit.
Thank you very much, colleagues. I hope we've attempted to answer some of your questions. Maybe just to add on Derek's submission. Yes, the farm that Mike Mukula, captain, and his partners operate is majorly transportation and storage. And they don't import and sell crude. They actually do transport and store. That's their core business. This one, there was a question on the levels. The levels relate to the complexity. If you see level 1, level 2, level 1 is like the basic level. Casual laborers, you don't need any kind of education. They call you, come pick this, move this item from here, there. That's the lowest level of qualification. Then level 2, trades and craft, you have a certificate in construction, a certificate in this and that. Then level 3 technicians is where you have some technical knowledge. You can do some work with very little supervision, the technical level. Then level 4 is now the managers. You guys should be level 4 now when you eventually finish, and not level 1. So that is the level of complexity and the skills that are required for the different levels. You see that, for instance, level 1, under civil structure, there are very many casual laborers, 3,000. So that is at the smallest level. So colleagues, allow me to move on to the next slide, which is this. It's a very simple one. You don't need to scratch your head. Here, we just wanted to share with you some of your colleagues that have had an opportunity to do internship. And this is just a small snapshot out of the very many. That gentleman did internship with Total. We have that gentleman. We have from different universities. This one was from King Caesar. This lady was from Makerere University. And so this is just to let you know that, yes, the opportunities are there. My friend up there was worried that ECOP is looking for just one person. And I was telling her that she might as well be that very person that ECOP is looking for. So she shouldn't really give up. So these are some of the internship opportunities. You'll see ECOP right there. They're looking for interns. The PAU advert, maybe later when you graduate, you might have an opportunity as a graduate trainee. But we also do take up internship, interns as well. So you have to apply. You can send your request, your application to ed@pau.go.ug to be considered. I think the next slot is in June. Of course, again, the numbers are limited. We can't take on everyone. But the earlier you submit your application, I think the better. There's the next lot. They are looking for very key in achieving energy and safe energy, SDG number 3, and SDG number 3, and SDG number 1 as well. Poverty. This project or this oil, we expect this to support our growth as a country, to reduce the poverty levels. Like you've seen, how much we'll be earning, about 2.5 billion US dollars every year. And so if we put that money to good use, we believe that it will transform our economy. So that in that way, the sector is helping us achieve SDG 1. But also clean energy. We all know that biomass is that energy that most of us use even at home, and it's very dangerous. The forests have been depleted as a result of the demand for firewood. So if we develop our projects, we are looking at LPG as well. That is going to help us in reducing that risk of deforestation. You've heard about Europe and their drive is leading the debate with the ambitious net zero carbon emissions by 2050. Some countries, China for instance, has extended to 2060. What is Uganda's energy transition targets, decarbonization targets? Which should we hope to have decarbonized? Decarbonization means that you are balancing the carbon emissions that you're emitting. You have strategies in place to extract the equivalent that you're emitting. So there's that net zero aspect to it. So you're not increasing, you just that. So do we know when we expect to get to that point as a country? Any idea? Do we have anyone from environment? Anyone doing an environment course here? Okay. So it's 2065, if I recall, if that is 2065 or 2062. Can double 65. Thank you very much. So, colleagues, you see we have all those years to get to that level where we are transitioning. So the oil and gas is still going to be demanded. But if you follow trends, you will see that some of the big oil and gas companies are scaling down on their plans for renewables. Companies like BP, companies like Shell had very ambitious energy transition targets, but they've scaled down their investment in renewables simply because the reality on the ground is that oil and gas is still demanded. And so as a business person, as a business organization, you have shareholders who are demanding for returns on their investment. And you have to invest in areas that pay. So for as long as there's demand in oil and gas, there's going to be continuous investment. So some of those companies have scaled down on their targets for investment in renewables, but also transitioning. So that should give my brothers and sisters some hope that even with this talk of energy transition, there's going to be continuous demand. Of course, in the short and medium term, the projects will still be profitable and the demand for oil and gas will be there. As a country, if you look at our energy transition, we are again trying to leverage on oil and gas sector to achieve the 2065 net zero targets. So the oil and gas sector still plays a significant role in decarbonizing our sector. The other aspect I thought I should touch on is what these companies are currently doing as they plan to transition is to repurpose the skills, is to use the same people that they are having, the same skill sets to see how they can be reinvested or channeled into renewable technologies, which I think is still possible on our part. There's some work we need to do in terms of, again, like you mentioned, curriculum aspect, curriculum review, to repurpose the curriculum, to have that eye on when we get to that level, how do we then transition and deploy our skills. So in a nutshell, there's no significant fear. The energy transition will need oil and gas to be achieved. So the demand will still be there. Some of the fears we had should not be a big issue. So we are getting to our last slide, conclusion. So Uganda is privileged. We are at a pivotal moment, transitioning from exploration to development phase. We know there are unique skill sets that are required, but also we know that some of the skill sets that we've acquired in the exploration can be deployed in the operation phase. These opportunities that we've seen, especially procurement opportunities like we saw, some of them one-off. We've had this big investment of about $20 billion, and a bit of it has gone into procurement, a bit of it has gone into capacity building, but it's a one-off. So most likely the next phase is going to be a smaller investment. So as a youth or as students here, we encourage you to take up the available training opportunities in the sector. Keep looking out for these opportunities in the press, social media. I know we're very active on social media, LinkedIn or the website or X. These opportunities are usually there. But also, as the authority, we'll continue to disseminate these opportunities through the various engagements, conferences. We have a Skills Expo coming up. We've had 2 where you have actively participated, and we thank you for that. We have another one coming up. Christine mentioned the National Oil and Gas Talent Register, which is a platform that gives you visibility, your skill sets, but also it's a platform that companies use to post jobs. So if you register there, you will have that opportunity of having access to those jobs. Take interest, register on that platform, especially when you graduate, okay? Because some of the requirements are that you upload your academic documents and the like. I can't emphasize the fact that you're the future of this oil and gas. You're the guys who will be driving this sector very soon, driving it into renewables, like my colleagues are very interested. So I encourage you to take keen interest, read, be curious as much as you can, engage, ask, and continuously do your best. This marks the end of the first segment of our presentation, and we'll have to move on to the next segment. But before then, I think we can allow some questions before we move on to the next segment. Thank you. Okay. I know it's coming to 1 o'clock, but don't worry. You can also write your question down. Maybe it can all be forwarded, and we can attempt it in the course of our discussion.
Good afternoon. My name is Asimo Gilbert, and I'm a computer science student. I want to inquire about what she talked about, that a lot of data is being collected from ECOP and from the production that's happening, from exploration, production, all the streams that have been talked about. And what I want to inquire about is accessibility to that information, because we have brilliant minds in Uganda, innovative minds, and like you say, technology determines how you predict. Like you said, when she asked about how long oil is going to stay there, you say that it depends on the technology that you have to predict. So, and as a person in technology and interested in petrotech, I pick interest in determining that data determines how you come up with innovative ideas. So I want to know, I also am informed that Petroleum Authority of Uganda is in charge of the National Petroleum Data Repository that stores all the data that comes from all the projects of the oil and gas industry. So I want to know, how accessible is that data to students, researchers, and innovators that can come up with ideas, both technological and technical, to improve that sector? Yeah, that's my question.
Thank you very much. Derek, maybe you can take on that.
My question goes to Derek. He mentioned about planting trees as a way of reducing emissions, carbon emission. What are the other carbon capture technologies that you're using? And then the next question is the environmental impact assessment about this project, the oil and gas project. What are the results that we've got, and is that environmental impact assessment available to people who need it? Because I have an environmental engineering course unit, but in trying to look for the environmental impact assessment, we've tried to look for it, we couldn't get it.
Thank you. Ladies, we need some ladies.
Good afternoon, everyone. My question is not really practical. I mean technical. I wanted to ask, there's a stereotype, I don't know if it's just a stereotype, that women can't actually do the physical work in the petroleum sector. So my question is, how best or to what extent are the women involved in the physical work, that technical work in the petroleum sector? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, I think we can take on those. Derek, you want to quickly take on this?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Naukara Desire, aspiring GRC Secretary PM. My question is about the talent register. Are there specific technical certificates that currently make a candidate stand out to the international operators? That's my question.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carlson Kalema. I'm doing petroleum engineering year 2. I think my question is, I think by law and policy, the Ugandan government and its partners, that's Total, UNOC, and SINOC, have committed to a no flaring policy. Yeah, and that is for normal operations to ensure sustainable low carbon production. So my question stands in how are we turning this potential waste into value regarding the conversion of associated gas like LPG, as you were saying, for domestic use, and how is PAU regulating the technical standards for this transition and their career paths within the authority, focused specifically on methane abatement and carbon accounting. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. It's Adam Katongoli again. My question is straightforward. I'm currently doing some work in AI. I'm an AI ML engineer. I've currently launched a product. Yesterday at 1 I launched an AI product. It's called Craftsmith. You guys are going to be able to, everyone's going to be able to access it anytime soon. So with the rapid rise of artificial intelligence driving a surge in global electricity demand, especially for data centers, and we know Strive Masiwa is going to build 5 data centers in the next 5 years. He's already starting a data center in South Africa, and there's going to be one in Kenya, I think this year. Energy is becoming the new strategic currency. As Uganda develops its oil resources while also expanding renewables, how is the country positioning itself to meet this emerging AI-driven energy demand? Are we planning to leverage our energy mix to attract data infrastructure and digital industries, Or are we at risk of missing another global shift by focusing too narrowly on traditional oil markets? Thank you so much. Yes, indeed, I think some questions will need to be re-echoed, but I'll start with Gilbert's question. Access to data. At PIU, you're right. I see you've done very good research. We are hosting, or we are going to host the National Petroleum Data Repository, and this data repository has both physical data and digital data. Now, this data is some of the data is can be accessed by the public. Some data is still under it's still under the confidentiality agreement or clause. So in that way, I would advise that with your project, you can write to the Petroleum Authority requesting for this data. If the technical people evaluate and find that this is the data that can be shared, this data can be shared. Case in point, we've actually shared a lot of data with Bara University with oil samples. I know they are doing some studies on the oil. We've been able to share with you the data. We have cuttings that we can share for those that are interested in doing research in understanding the sedimentary basins, understanding the type of lithologies that we have. That data is available, you can apply for it. The other data, I know some, especially for the civil engineers, you could be interested in drawings, in say, water abstraction systems, all these things. I can say that that you can actually generate your own, say, advanced, you can come up with a concept that can improve the water refining. Say, when you're having produced water, how more can you help, say, reduce the impurities that are within that produced water that will be re-injected? So that's the concept that you could develop, and this could be a very good addition. It could be something that could be picked on by the industry, or it could be an eye-opener somewhere. Then the other question, I think the one for the access to data, the Petro Tech, that has been addressed. So when you talk about, my brother there asked about the different decarbonization strategies that we are having, that we are trying to regulate. And there are quite a number. So for example, you talked about the no flaring. This is key because previously during exploration and appraisal, we used to flare the oil that we would produce due to say, when you're performing a well testing. So the oil that you produce, you actually just flare it. But then we realized that it's it's a lot of emission. We're releasing a lot of CO2 in the air. So we had to embed a no flaring policy within the regulation, and this has gone ahead to we're seeing a lot of advancement in carrying out the same operation, but with no flaring. For example, previously, we've just concluded a well testing operation on one of the well pads, and the companies were forced to take an extra mile to kind of think of a technology that can be able to meet the demands of the study or of the exercise that they wanted to conduct without flaring. And that's when they came up with what we call a green burner. It doesn't actually just burn the crude, but it kind of eliminates. It's like I call it like a micro CPF, whereby the oil is separated from the gas, and the gas is kept somewhere for further management. Then, of course, there are quite a number of carbon capture methods. For example, you have the carbon CO2 sequestration. That's really like now, this is big in the developed worlds. And we'll probably do a study and see whether it can actually apply here when we have this overproduction. But also, on the other hand, when you talk about the waste and how we're trying to manage the CO2 emissions, I can tell you, currently in Tilenga, we have, for each rig, we have about 3 diesel generators. And at one point, 2 generators have to work. But we've gone ahead to reduce the amount of diesel that is burnt in those generators by improvising, putting in place different renewable sources. So solar, we have a fully solar-powered mini camp and all those. So we may not, so in waste management, you realize that there is reduce, reuse, or recycle. So we go ahead, I mean, we're trying to put everything in place to ensure that we are able, if we cannot eliminate, we at least reduce the CO2 emissions. Then the other one was about the how the country is strategizing to meet the energy demands in regards to the AI. I didn't get it right. Probably you could just re-echo it for me.
Very high energy demand, and we're seeing that Africa is getting an opportunity to get 5 more data centers in the next 5 years, something we have never had, and that's going to be done by Econet under Strive Masiyiwa. So there's actually an energy demand. One of the problems he's facing is he's not getting a solution for the energy demand, because these data centers actually need constant energy. So how is the country and maybe Petroleum Authority of Uganda positioning itself not only focus on the traditional oil sector, but then also offer subsidize or offer a solution for these emerging technologies, and most particularly the data centers? Thank you so much.
Well, that's a good question. In regards to the energy demands, I believe as a country, we are taking very good steps forward. For example, when you look at, stepping aside from the oil and gas, when you look at the amount of investment that is being done in terms of the other energy sources, there is a video that was played, and you look at the different investments that have been done in solar, quite big. We have plants that are producing about 20 megawatts that can be able to meet localized energy demands. You have the hydropower plants in place. These, we actually produce more than we can consume, and this has led to massive industrialization. So when you talk about the different data centers that are coming on board and need extra energy, I believe that with the increased energy, with the increased production of electricity and whatsoever, we'll be able to have enough energy in place. But that notwithstanding, even from the oil and gas, we have a proposal whereby the gas that will be produced will be converted into gas to power project. For example, some of our projects will need about 22 megawatts. Some of the projects will need about 22 megawatts, but the gas that will be produced will actually be more than 22, will be able to produce electricity of more than 22 megawatts. So this electricity will be put on the grid, and then it will be able to meet some of those energy demands.
Colleagues, I have a proposal. We have so many questions, but we seem to be running out of time. My proposal is that you allow us move on to the next segment, which is personal. I'm sure you'll also enjoy it, which is personal. And then we'll have a moment after, we'll be around, we can interact, you can ask questions, and then we can be able to attend to you, but so that we keep time. Is that agreeable? Fine? We move on to the next segment? Fantastic. So the next segment is stories. Me, I like listening to stories, so I hope you also do like. So it's the career path. It's essentially just to share with you. We've had, the opportunities, the trainings, but we also know that oil and gas is not a mass employer, especially for those that are specializing in oil and gas, and those that are not specializing in oil and gas but would like to join the oil and gas. Just to share with you our story, our journey, to just give you an indication. As I said, my name is Alex Biamkama. I serve as a Senior National Content Officer, Capacity Building. The department where I work is in charge of ensuring that Ugandans participate, have opportunities in terms of employment, in terms of service provision. Personally, I didn't start off from the oil and gas sector. And I think the time I even started, I had never dreamt of oil and gas sector. It just happened along the way. My first degree is in procurement and logistics. I'm a procurement professional. I also do possess a chartered certificate in procurement and supplies, MSIPs, and I did practice procurement for some time. I did my master's, I did an MBA as well, just to give me an edge in terms of management. And when an opportunity knocked in oil and gas, where I fall, so my role was to essentially review contracts by the licenses. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda has a responsibility to review procurements that are taken by the contractors and licenses to ensure that they comply with the laws that govern the sector, but also best practice. So with my background in procurement and having practiced, I was able to fit into that role. It's in the oil and gas, but the aspects I was handling were really about procurement. So I have done that for some time, and I am still doing it under national content and capacity building. So in a nutshell, you don't have to be a geologist, you don't have to be a petrophysicist to have a career in oil and gas. But also, I can still transition into other sectors with my background, with my experience. So I can't get tied in oil and gas. Or when that time comes and Petroleum Authority of Uganda says, thank you very much for your services, I will still find a way of transitioning into the other sectors of the economy, because the skills that I've acquired, the skills that I've learned are transferable and they can cut across. But again, on a personal note, I think what has driven me is, first of all, having passion for what you do. For me, the course I studied initially, the first course, I was passionate about practicing procurement. And when you're passionate about something, you're very curious, you seek out to continuously learn. And that's what drove me to seek a professional qualification in procurement itself. So the passion for something drives you to continuously improve yourself, upskill, learn, and get better. Even when some people look out for money, some jobs are not that well paying, but because you love what you're doing and you enjoy it, you still continue doing it. So for me, it's passion, it's desire for excellence. Usually want to leave a mark on whatever you do. If you've given a responsibility, you want to give it your very best and know that if anything happened, you know that you did your best. If someone tells you you've missed this deadline or your submission could have won you this particular award, for instance, if you're in a competition, if you've done your very best, you'll take heart and you'll be satisfied knowing that you actually did your best. But if you didn't do your very best, you'll keep on thinking that, well, if I had only given it a little more time, if only I had given it a little more effort, maybe, and that can haunt you for some good time. But if you always do give it your best to everything that you're doing, even when things don't work out, you'll take away that comfort, knowing that it's the best that you did. And I mean, that's the best that you could have done, and you'll go away with that comfort. I know we are running out of time. I'll just request my colleagues to come in and quickly share with you their brief story. I see some of us have other lectures and are starting to get out. I hope we can take a shorter time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I told you my name, I'm Christine, and I'm in charge of the database registering suppliers who are working on the oil and gas project. It's a very good opportunity for me to be in the oil and gas sector. However, I didn't start from there. When I left school, I worked with National Medical Stores. You know, that's a place where they generate a lot of data because that's a store for medicines. So it was very interesting. And by then I had a bachelor's in IT. And I moved forward to do a master's of science in IT. Of course, I didn't know that I would end up in oil and gas. But an advert came up and they were speaking about my very qualifications, so I decided to try out. And indeed, I emerged the best and I went in there. The surprising thing is that earlier than that, my parents, who are accountants, wanted me to be in accountancy. So now I felt like, oh, maybe I didn't listen to them. So currently I am doing a master's in business administration, just to now show them that, you know, I did what you wanted me to do. So for me, people used to talk about diversity. When you're leaving school, you imagine that you will only be whatever you've studied and that will be it. But when you grow up, you're going to make money, lots of it, that you'll never be able to use. And you will go into all these different fields that you wanted to go to. So that is just a stepping stone for you. The important thing you should know is that you've got to excel in whatever you're doing, so that does not become a roadblock for you, because the moment you fail at that stage, then you're off. But if you excel at that and then keep your eyes open to whatever is coming next, who knows, today you're in this field, then tomorrow you could end up in medicine. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience. We really appreciate. Mine, before I dive into my career path, I just wanted you guys to go away with one thing, if you haven't picked up anything yet, is there is nothing like energy transition. I'll repeat. There is nothing like energy transition. What is there is energy addition. What do I mean? these other new sources are adding on existing energy sources. And when you look at the profiles of the big companies that are pushing for these energy additions, you'll find that actually the oil and gas players are the ones topping the charts. So they are more interested in energy addition, and then the other colleagues of ours pick it up as energy transition and try to demonize the non-renewable resources. So the non-renewable resources are here with us, and they are here to stay. Now, going into my career path. Like my colleague said, like all my colleagues, I was once a university student like you guys. You heard what happened to me on day one. Now, on my last day, after writing my last paper, even before that, during internship, I believe that some of you have had opportunities of doing your internship from oil companies, service companies, and things like that. While for me, my first work experience, that was during my internship. I started out in it was a water company. It was actually water, health, and sanitation. We were looking at improving the livelihood of people, communities, people building environmentally friendly toilets and things like that. Someone would wonder why, as in, you are doing an oil and gas course. Why did you, how did you end up there? Well, that was my question then as well. But then later I realized that that transitioned me to one of my career paths along the way. But starting with, I did my bachelor's in Petroleum Geoscience and Production from Makerere University. When I graduated, I was amongst the lucky few to work in the oil and gas. I was working with a company that's called Icon Industrial Services Uganda Limited. It's a local service company, and we are mainly doing core analysis. So we're looking at doing reservoir characterization. You get the cores from the field, you look at them, you take spectral gamma readings, you get the data, interpret the data, you do some porosity, permeability, reservoir characterization, you do special core analysis and things like that. Then in 2016, the oil price just dropped. I think at that time, someone joked and said, working at McDonald's, where a pack of McDonald's was going for about $20, was better than working in the oil and gas industry, where a barrel was going for way less. So that time was quite tormenting. At some point, I thought I'd made the wrong career choice, but that didn't derail me. At that particular point, I went ahead and did an MBA in oil management and governance. And then around the same time, I did 2 professional health and safety courses. That is NEBOSH, which is an internationally recognized certification. And then I also did IOSH, which is International Occupational Health and Safety Certificate. Now, these 2 certifications propelled me into my next career, which was health and safety. So I moved into the construction industry, where I served as a safety professional. If you've seen, if some of you saw the big pipelines that were along Mukono Road, so I was the health and safety coordinator for those pipelines, all the way from Katosi up to Kampala. The project was Katosi-Kampala transmission, water transmission line. So from there, I saw the job advert in Petroleum Authority, where I applied. Of course, I went through the other processes, registering myself on the NOG Tiara, And, you know, you never know what some of these simple things can earn you. So I just had on the NOC tiara, I applied for the job and things like that. We went for the interview. I was lucky to be the, I won't say the best candidate, but I was lucky to be picked because I don't know how the other candidates performed. Fast forward, so I joined as a petrophysicist. So fast forward, I went ahead to do my master's of science in petroleum engineering from Aberdeen University. I'm grateful to Petroleum Authority Management that they gave me this opportunity. After that, on my returning, I again competed with my colleagues and then turned out to be I was promoted to a position of senior petroleum engineer. That's where I've served, I think, for the last 2 years. And I can say that I think once you stay focused, once you stay hungry, once you do your assignments at the right time, the future is yours. There is nothing that will stop you. Thank you.
As we close at conclusion, briefly, for me, I started in a newsroom. A communications profession. From newsroom, I did more work of public relations and marketing. Then from marketing, I ended up into petroleum sector. I have masters in strategic communication. I have another masters in public relations. I'm doing masters in industrial management. I'll talk you through briefly this slide. Actually, there are 2 slides as we conclude our being here today. My question is, how do you build your profession brand? I'll take time and we'll discuss into that. But how do you build your profession brand? I'll ask for 5 minutes, maybe one question. How many of you have used AI, artificial intelligence? Okay. Through your AI, do you have your AI? Do you have AIs on your phones? Anyone you're asking, just write there your name. Say who is, write your name, and say what it responds. See the response you get. Just write there your name. Can we have 2 volunteers tell me to read for me what is there? Or we can give someone, give your neighbor to read for you. Yes, read. Where's the microphone? You can read, we can hear you. Oh.
Hello, my name is Melvin. I'm going to be reading for Adam Katongole. So Adam Katongole is a young Ugandan tech entrepreneur and emerging AI innovator based in Kampala, who is the founder and CEO of, what's that? Stackers Technologies, a civil engineering student at MUST, president of University's Engineering Society, or former president. Yeah. What he does, he's part of a new generation working at the intersection of artificial intelligence.
Okay, thank you so much. Right. Do you have anyone else? Okay, now, he has built his brand. So you also need to build your brand. He has built his brand, you also need to build your brand. We have very many platforms which...
When he's talking about building a brand, just say the first thing that comes to your mind. Zubak. Eh? Facebook. Bad Black. Exactly. So that is the brand we're talking about.
Okay. AI gets information from either your publication, from where your name has been mentioned, from where you have been participating in different forums, and your registration or your activity or your name appears to be among people who have contributed. That's very important. So build your brand. Now, what do you stand out? Building your professional brand, stand out, come out, be active, make sure that you have that brand. Focus on your efforts. He has talked about different efforts. We've had most of these people, how they came from university, how they acquired experience. Then communicate efficiently. Don't use your LinkedIn, don't use your Twitter, don't use your Facebook, don't use your accounts to post things. Because I'm sure before you get a job in PAE, they will have to run your background check. And one of the things, I know many people who have lost jobs and they are very brilliant, but the moment they check on their social media network channels, you see that person, you can't mix this person with other people. Make sure that you know your strengths and weaknesses, and now create a uniqueness. Make sure that if I appeared here, really, if I appeared here, will I make sense? If I speak, do I make sense? If I got a small internship at Petroleum Authority of Uganda, the moment I left, what will my boss say? What is my boss's perception against me, on me? That one makes you to come out outstanding performer. And make sure that if you were at PAU for an internship or anywhere, or by the time you leave, maybe somewhere, your supervisor will say, maybe if Derek was here, or if this gentleman was here, or if this young lady was here, this job will be done in a few minutes or anything. Have that uniqueness. Then you can be adapt to situations. If you've done petroleum engineering, then now you end up into borehole drillings. Go there, drill, acquire that experience, acquire that knowledge. You can see. You'll find almost all of petroleum engineers we have, all the geologists, most of the drilling engineers, they started in water, drilling water. Make research, explore opportunities, register on National Oil and Gas Talent Register, read newspapers, stay consistent, be present, network actively, like a network like this one, be in the network. When there is an opportunity to do industrial training, don't run to look for jobs. Just run to look for industrial training. Maybe I'll tell you this. I left campus 2012. That is about 14 years ago. When I had left campus, someone told me, identify 6 companies for industrial training. Of course, I identified 6 companies. I took those companies to that person. He said, go and write application letters and take them there. I took them. Luckily, the first company that gave me said, we'll give you transport allowance of 250. I told the person, but now this even can't pay for my transport and my rent in my Muzugo. He said, no, stay there. I worked just in less than 6 months. I had been promoted to about 3 ranks. So if it is there, if there is that opportunity, just stay and stay focused and work. Of course, these are practical steps: networking, professional etiquette, follow digital platforms, because almost all the adverts are in digital platforms. If you get content, If you see an advert, share with a colleague. Read. When you come for interviews, speak sense, because no one will take you when you don't know anything. Continue learning. Then lastly, sign in for National Oil and Gas Talent Register. Do volunteer work. Then seek feedback, because you learn from feedback. Thank you so much. I'll call Alex to talk about career, or rather skills, oil and gas skills expo. Then we conclude this. We'll have photo moments. I have some few notebooks to give out. I have photo booth. Thank you so much. See you again. Welcome to the employment world. Keep focused. Thank you.
First of all, to thank you for your previous participation in the Mighty Skills Expo, and to inform you that we have another one coming up not very far from today, on the 13th and 14th of May, which is next month, at Makerere University. And we hope that after Makerere University, we will have the pleasure of being hosted by MUST. But so we invite you again. We'll have the quiz. I'm sure you're well aware of the quiz. Some of you have participated. Those that haven't participated, we encourage you to organize yourselves. We'll have a quiz that day, and we're hoping to have another innovation challenge around the oil and gas space. So the flyer is there. To just encourage you now to participate, we wrote to the university, and I hope they officially received the letter. We look forward to getting in touch with the person to coordinate with, and then we'll continuously engage, organize, and make sure that you have an opportunity to win this year's edition of the Oil and Gas Expo quiz. I wish you the very best from the bottom of my heart. And I wish you take the crown for this year. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you on the 13th and 14th. Thank you.
A round of applause to the team. Please, when you go to Makerere, don't say you wish them the best to win. Just make sure it's us to win all the time. Before Saif gives out, allow me to invite the Petroball champions. Are they still here in the house, or they're left? Just come forward. It's your moment to shine. It's your moment to shine. Please clap for them. They are celebrities in their own world. I don't know how you selected yourselves, or how you get those with Kanyama only. I don't know. Come here, come here, come here. Nga is so only. Where is Hajat? She's not around. Okay, just move forward. You're the ones to receive the items of the university on behalf of the university. Just receive the items, whatever, not the notebooks, the things that are going to the library, to the everything. So thank you for representing the university, and thanks for that scary video that you gave us. Please stand in the middle. It's your time to shine. So Pau the other side, MUST this side. I thought you were going to come in your t-shirts because we paid for them as a university. Accountability. Yes, just a photo moment. So we all receive on behalf of the university. Are they smiling, guys? Are they smiling for us, or they are not? There are two who look like brothers, and one is, let me see. Extend in front. They look alike. Aren't they confusing us? Okay, thank you so much. Please go and take your seats. Present them to the Vice Chancellor, please. You're going to meet her soon. Where we started from, ladies and gentlemen, people wanted to be priests, but they ended up in the hostel. I remember the comments. I don't know where they took the papers. Are we still in that same boat? Have we picked anything from this? Have we appreciated that POW is not about only engineers? Have we heard the stories of how people got lost in class, now they are in POW? Are we ready to reform? The last slide actually burnt me more. Ladies and gentlemen, when you're going into the world, building a brand means a lot. I think Seth was just out of time, but when it comes to social media branding, these days people dig out information. The information you have right now, are you proud of it? Some people are not even shaking their heads, I'm worried. Are we proud of the information on our social media pages? Yes? Okay. Do we have the president of, since we're in the engineering faculty, the president of the engineering faculty to come and give the closing remarks on behalf of the students? Or, let me get, here. Please come. He's the guy who mobilized you when you had refused to come. Manya, you have papers, what, you're reporting me. Huh? Please give him a round of applause. Personally, I want to thank you for mobilizing the students at the last minute in the sense that they had to go back when they came at 9. We are sorry about the time lag, but thank you for your patience.
Thank you so much, Madam Angela. Good afternoon to you all. I want to take this opportunity to welcome and also thank the Petroleum Authority Uganda for making this opportunity and for creating time for us to have this knowledge so that we can reflect on what our journeys in life are supposed to be. Let us give them a round of applause. And at this very juncture, I would also love to thank you for your cooperation, for having made it here, for this career fair to take place. And once again, this is not an effort of one person, but an effort for everyone that is present in this place. And for those that want to make themselves better, as engineers and also as individuals, please, we've heard what the gentleman and the lady here have told us, the information they have shared with us. For those of you looking for internship opportunities, please, they are there, feel free. And also, you need the criteria as they described or as they said, that there are certain criteria that they have to base on, obviously, the background checks. So, please, check yourselves. Yeah, and let us take the time and endeavor to make ourselves better so that we can all benefit from this. And let us be the light that keeps burning for this nation and for this university. Succeed we must, and for God and my country.
Thank you so much. How many of you have already gone for your placements or internship? We have all gone, we have not yet gone? So you're lucky that we got this before. Please leave a lasting impression there. A good one. In the sense that they should remember you there. Okay? Don't leave a bad name for the university. Don't leave a bad name for yourself. They'll call you back if you are good. If you're doing placement, leave a lasting impression. And like I always tell people when I'm doing the career guidance, when everyone is seated, stand up. When everyone stands up, stand out. When everyone stands out, set your standards. If everyone comes at 7, come 6:30. Okay? Don't say, oh, that is what makes you stand out. When everyone is seated, when everyone stands up, when everyone stands out, set your standards. Okay, forget everything but leave that with your heads. Say if you want to say goodbye to us again.
Okay. Thank you so much for this time. Let's keep conversation going on. We are moving out. Let's have this conversation. If you had any burning question, I, Alex, Christine, and Derek, we are here to answer. Let's interact, let's network. Yeah, thank you so much. I have some few notebooks for those who have not received. Pick, let's pick, and move on. Thank you so much.
Oh, we shall have the booklets at the photo session, because if I don't do it there, you'll not come for my photos. Not so? But also I've shared the link for the feedback. Please give us feedback for this. What would you want to hear more? What do you want to hear next? And then when do you want these people back? Okay? So fill the form. I've shared it with the presidents and also the student leaders. Let's, okay. Okay, scan that and then we go. But once again, Pau, thank you for considering Barra University of Science and Technology. There's a lot going on in the university today. I'm surprised the room is still full. At town campus here, including students' activities and staff activities. But we thank you for coming and supporting us. Dear students, tomorrow we have a webinar. It has been shared on social media. Please attend. It's also by Pau, engineer. Please get the name. It's about also opportunities about the oil and gas industry. Please be online. We've shared it on social media. Let's be there. Once again, thank you for staying. Let's have our photo moment outside. Succeed, we must.